Okay, welcome back to the Car Boutique's detailing channel. His name's Carl.
And his name's Andy.
Something very, very exciting today, and something that a lot of you have been waiting for. Okay, we are going to be testing Clean by Pan The Organiser. Now, Carl and myself are very cognizant of the fact, cognizant, that's a big word, isn't it?
Very big word.
That's why I saw you laughing on the screen. Okay, we are very aware that there's been a lot of social media chatter on all social forums, and it would be fair to say that some has been positive, but there has also been quite a lot of negative.
There has.
Now, a lot of that negativity is for whatever reason, okay, but we are going to be independent testers. We're unbiased. So we're going to package all that social media chatter. We're going to throw it into the box. We're going to put that box in the skip. It has gone. So these products have just arrived in the UK, and Dave from Clean Your Car has very kindly sent us 6 of the products from this range. Now, we're not going to do it all in one video. We're going to focus on a couple in this video review, just to whet your appetite and for us to get a feel for these products. So this is our first contact with these products. You are going to be sharing the experience with us. Now, the two we're going to focus on today is Clean's Shampoo, okay, and we're also going to test the ceramic spray sealant. They're the first two we're going to be looking at. Okay, so the vehicle we're going to be testing on today is a black VW Golf. It is very, very dirty, so it's going to provide the perfect platform for us to really put the shampoo through its paces. Now, this vehicle has got a 1-year ceramic coating on it, so bear that in mind when you're looking at the behaviour of the products on the panel. But that 1-year ceramic, would you agree, we've noticed that over the last few weeks is starting to die off, so it shouldn't impinge on the actual test too much.
No, hopefully not. Like Andy said, it is just starting to die off a bit at the moment, so it's a good time to see how this product performs.
And it is very, very dirty, isn't it?
It's honking.
There's no point in doing this kind of test on a clean car, is there?
Absolutely not. We're testing the shampoo at the end of the day.
We are indeed. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the branding. Okay, now branding is important. You know, if you're looking at lots of products on the shelf, the branding is going to stand out. And my personal opinion on this, interesting to hear your thoughts. By the way, we haven't discussed this review at all. This is clean canvas. Let's see if we agree or disagree. But like we always say, you get 2 for the price of 1. Anyway, I digress. I love this packaging. It's funnily enough clean, all right, it's minimalistic, it's basic. What are your thoughts just on your first impression of looking at it? What sort of emotional stirrings do you get?
Emotional stirrings, what are you on about? Right, I'm going to actually agree with Andy. I quite like the minimalistic packaging on it. So yeah, it says what it is. It's a shampoo. It is colour coded, depending on the product we're going.
Yep.
So yeah, thumbs up on that.
A couple of things I've noticed that we've got to be open and honest. Everything's sort of in ounces, so we're going to do the conversions to millilitres for you. You'll see when we come to look at the two products that we personally think there's a bit of information lacking, but that'll become apparent shortly. And to be totally honest, the actual quality control is good, apart from this one. And you can actually see that the packaging machine has double labelled it, so you can see the underlying label is coming through. That's just something for Pan to maybe bring up with the people that does his labelling, but it's a minutiae issue, but it is something that sort of needs to be addressed. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first product we're going to look at is Clean's Shampoo. Okay, I am going to do a pH test to see whether it's neutral, alkaline, acidic. Now, we're going to be using this for sort of 2 purposes. We are going to be using this as a part of the pre-wash, so we are not going to use citrus pre-wash at all. We're going to use the shampoo as a snow foam. Reason being, this will give us a better indicator when we do the swipe test as to how effective shampoo is as a pre-wash product. So looking at the instructions, it says in the foam cannon use 1 ounce, or which is 30 millilitres of product for good foam, 2 ounces 60 millilitres for super thick foam. And this is the bit about the instructions being slightly lacking. We're making the presumption that is 30 or 60 mil in a 1 litre snow foam cannon reservoir. It doesn't say that, but most, would you agree, Carl, most snow foam cannons are a litre? About a litre, yeah. So we'll do the test on that presumption. So the second purpose of it So the second purpose of this, hold on, stop right there, no, anyway. So the second purpose of shampoo is a shampoo in the contact phase. Stop laughing, Carl, because the camera is shaking. Okay, so when we're using it in the bucket, it's 2 ounces or 60 millilitres at a ratio of 256, so that's roughly about 15 litres. So when we come to do the bucket phase, there's 60 millilitres of this in 15 litres of water. So as I always say, less chat. It is absolutely freezing out there, Carl, isn't it? What do you reckon?
It's
7 degrees?
I think it's probably down to as low as 4 or 5 degrees.
In fact, I'm going to use our heat gun, our temperature gun now, and show you what the temperature out there is. But let's chat, let's go and play. Okay, on to testing. So we're going to be using the shampoo as the snow foam part of our pre-wash. And like I said, we did not use citrus pre-wash because we want to do an accurate comparison. Now, Carl is going to put the snow foam on one half of the bonnet. So when we do the swipe test, we can look at the difference to see if the actual shampoo has made any difference in terms of dirt removal. And just remind us, Carl, you've got 30 millilitres?
Yeah, so I've got 30 millilitres in this snow foam cannon, and I've got a 60 ml in that one. We're also going to look at thickness of foam, and does actually the cleaning increase with that increase of product as well.
Yes, like Carl says, when we compare the two, okay, we're going to look at different in foam, because this is what it says. If you want a thicker foam, you go for 60 millilitres, but arguably it's not just appearance. You would like to think that 60 ml, higher concentration, is going to be better at cleaning power, and we're going to test that as well.
I'd like to think so.
What I will say is, although we've been given instructions in terms of how much product to put in with the water, there are going to be nuanced differences relative to what water supply you're using, what pressure washer, and the actual internal mechanism of this. And we're using other
premium snow foam cannon.
Yeah, other premium snow foam cannon with the Evolution P60. Okay, so there will be subtle differences. So we're going to start testing. So Carl, are you ready?
Yes.
Andrew, are you ready? Yes, let's do it. Okay, Carlos, first impressions now, bearing in mind this was 30 millilitres, so this was sort of targeting light to medium foam. What are your thoughts?
So with our snow foam cannon, to be fair, it's produced a very thin snow foam, but I'll give it its dues. It does seem to be clinging quite well. I did have reservations when they're first going on that this was going to slide off very, very quickly. And actually,
I'll agree with you there. Actually, it is thin.
It's clinging.
It is, but it does have this bizarre characteristic of sticking to the actual paint. Now, clearly, this is a snow foam. Hopefully it's not a show foam, and you don't want it to just stick. Okay, the whole idea is to encapsulate the dirt and have that sort of fall off, that slip rate. And it is, as you can see, slowly dripping off. So it's a weird one. Your first impression is, oh, this is a bit thin.
Yeah, I thought it was very thin when I was applying it, like I said, but it's clinging. So, and it is slowly coming off the car, as you can see in this, certainly in this back quarter here. It's slowly, so hopefully that is taking dirt with it.
And like you say, the other system is very, very hungry, isn't it?
Yes.
There's loads of water going through it. So this is a test and adjust, and it's not saying that the 30 milliliter isn't enough. I would suggest if you use something like the I don't know, the JJC snow foam cannon, this is going to be super, super thick. So with our system, we might just need to sort of test and adjust and put it up a bit.
We'll find out in a minute when we apply the 60 ml version.
Absolutely. Now we're going to leave this for 5 or 10 minutes. We can leave it that long because it's quite cold. It's not going to evaporate off and all that kind of stuff. There is a slight bit of overshoot, but when I do this swipe test comparison, I'll go to a relatively clean area. There should be, if this is an effective sort of product as a pre-wash product, a difference when we do the swipe test between this side and that side. But we're going to leave it to do its thing, and then we'll come back and test.
Absolutely.
Just as a bit of an add-on, what we were saying earlier, if we just zoom in and just focus on that, it's like it does form a sticky film over it, which is really, really good considering we're on the lowest sort of concentration, and that is clearly just staying. So it's almost like it's got two aspects to it. It's got the drippy bit, but it still remains this film actually doing its thing. So it's an interesting product. Okay, we've left this on about 10 or 15 minutes, and even with that thin foam, it's still clinging. So what Carl is now going to do is he's going to rinse it off. Now he's going to rinse equally this clean panel and the panel with the foam on. So when we do this swipe test, we know that both have had sort of water activity and makes for a better test.
So it's now time for our swipe test. So I'm going to do the non-treated side.
Yep.
So I'm going to bring down and then swap it round and do a second swipe test.
Okay,
and that's the dirt that's still left on our car.
Okay, we're going to put this side by side on a photograph. So that's the no snow foam.
That's no snow foam. So I'm going to keep that in our left hand, and I'm going to bring across. Okay, and I'm going to bring down, and I'm going to again swap it around and bring it down again. Actually, there is a difference.
Put them side by side, Carl. We're going to do. So I'm going to take a proper photograph of this just to see the difference. Now, there's still dirt. Now, we are going to look at whether the 60 millilitres of product makes any difference. And bearing in mind, this is a shampoo.
Exactly that. So it's designed really for a contact use.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting huge amounts.
Yeah.
But it has some cleaning power.
And as we already know, the pre-wash is always going to leave dirt. And the whole idea of the snow foam is to encapsulate the bigger bits of dirt. So
Absolutely.
What we might be picking up there is road film, traffic film that you're not going to get rid of. But are we in agreement that it's made a slight difference in terms of removing the grime element? Because
Absolutely.
That's what, when you press down, it's doing. What probably some of you are thinking were expecting was for it to be clean. No sort of citrus and no snow foam will totally clean all that traffic film off. That's why you always need the contact wash. But what was pleasing to see was a subtle difference. Whether we're expecting more or not,
I don't know what I was expecting. I just wanted to see what we got.
yeah, absolutely. But there was a slight difference.
Yep.
We're going to test the 60 mil and see if that
Absolutely.
makes any difference. Then we will be doing a side-by-side from the aesthetic point of view as to thin and thick foam. Right, you've got to feel sorry for Carl. He actually looks really cold. You would not believe how cold it is today. So what Carl's going to do, what have you got in there? Just remind the
So
troops.
I've got 60 ml of product and then the rest topped up with water.
Excellent. So Carl's going to carefully spray this with 60 so we can then do this sort of test between how effective the thicker foam is in terms of how much dirt it leaves on. So let's go. Okay, so short and quick, stronger solution, 60 mils. We're going to leave that for 10 or 15 minutes, come back, do the swipe test, and then we're going to show you aesthetically, visually, the difference in the two foams.
All right, just to top it off, it's now raining, I'm cold, and I'm getting wet.
Poor Carl.
So we're going to get on with this test now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to test the 60 ml concentrated snow foam first, and then we're going to revisit the 30 ml side.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to bring down.
Don't show it yet, and go over to the 30.
And then again.
Turn it over. Now remember, we're not expecting this to get rid of all of it because the whole purpose of the snow foam, and I'm keeping you in suspense because the results are there, the purpose of this is to get rid of the big stuff. We're really testing aggressively for the road grime. So that was the 60?
That was the 60.
And that's the 30.
And that's the 30.
Right, so I'm going to take a photograph and show the side by side. That's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting.
So as a pre-wash, we recommend the higher concentration of 60 mil.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, that's quite a conclusive test, so that's really, really good. Now, we are now going to do the visual side of it, so some of you guys will want to see the difference in sort of foam quality. We've already proven that the 30 mil has negligible effect in terms of targeting the road grime, but the 60 is really quite impressive. We're going to do a side-by-side, and then we're going to snow foam the whole car and compare it to those original images, because the purpose of the snow foam is to get rid of the bigger stuff. It's not really intended for the road grime, but we've done that test as well, so let's crack on.
So now what we're going to do is a quick side-by-side comparison of the 60 ml concentration against the 30
Windswept and interesting,
30
but Billy Connolly would say.
Yeah, 30 ml concentration. So we're going to do that on the side of our car, and let's see the difference in our thickness of foams.
Roger. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do the 60 on this side. You're going to have to work quick and get it swapped over for the 30 on this side, just as a visual indication as to how thick the foam is, because some people have a preference. So let's go for the 60. Now, while Carl's reloading, noticeably thicker still. Lots drip off, but it retains this film. Interesting product. Never noticed that in a foam before, so that's really interesting. So look at Carl going. Look, I've never seen Carl work so quick. So onto the 30 on the other side. Right, so there you go. Bearing in mind, this was applied later. That's been on longer. I think that is a conclusive test. So If you're after your thicker foam, you go for the 60. If you like your thinner, you go for your 30. If you want a more impact in terms of targeting that road grime, again, you go for the 60 because it was considerably more potent to the 30. Okay, so Carl, we want to just do a side-by-side sort of a comparison between the original dirt on the vehicle. So should we go for a 60 all over?
Yep, 60 all over.
Leave it for 10-15 minutes, rinse it down, and then show the images of the original car as to how effective this is in doing its purpose as a snow foam, which is essentially getting rid of the big stuff.
Absolutely.
You look so cold. I'm trying to get you a sympathy vote now.
Oh.
The car boutique is not stopped by bad weather. Discuss. Okay, Carl's just getting ready for the shampoo test, but I'm going to show you some B-roll of the rinse. Really effortless to rinse down. Because it's so thick and it sort of clings to the paint, you're basically just like massaging it off. And as you can see from the shots there, no issues with the rinse whatsoever. In fact, it was one of the best snow foams I've used for rinsing, and that's me being honest. Now, the purpose of the snow foam, as we said, is to get rid of all the big stuff. So I'm going to just show you the state of the vehicle in a few places before I sort of zoom in, because we want all that big grit, all the dust and all that stuff off as well. And as you can see, it's made quite a big difference. Now, I know this is still wet, but all this was absolutely caked. Don't you do this at home. So this was that really dirty area. All right, so you can see the majority. Now, we already know there's a bit of grime left from the previous test, but quite a potent product. Even on the wheels, we haven't touched these wheels, we literally just use a snow foam. Okay, so Carl's not mic'd up, but he's going to do his Caesar moment here. As an effective snow foam in terms of its intended purpose to get rid of the big stuff, what's he giving? Excellent, good times. Right then, Carl's all loaded up. We are going to use a shampoo in the as the purpose it's really intended for.
So now onto our contact wash with our shampoo. So we've got 60 ml of product into 15 litres of water. I'm going to put the mitts in a moment. I'm just going to foam this up. Let's see how it goes. So I would say that foams up quite well.
You don't do it as good as Rab reviews when he does his eruption of foam. Okay, so yeah, agreed. Nice and frothy.
So chuck our paraphernalia in.
Now, just for information, we use a one bucket method. We don't even need a grit guard. We use multiple mitts because nothing ever returns in this bucket. Once a mitt is used, it's gone, etc., etc. So that's the technique that we're going to be using for this.
Absolutely.
Okay, now you've seen lots of our videos. We sort of do the shampoo stage in two bits. We usually snow foam, apply it and for our brush work, leave that foam on, and then we still use the bucket. But this time we're just going to use the wash media in the bucket, aren't we?
Well, we want to test the lubricity of our shampoo.
So Carl raises a good point. In terms of shampoo, putting aside the test we've done as a pre-wash, almost as a snow foam, what you're looking for in a shampoo, because we're limited in what we can do on a test, aren't we, surely?
We are limited, but we want to look at lubricity. So I want them to know how my wash media is going to slide across that paintwork. I want to know how clean it's going to get my car, because I want to see if those surfactants are going to be collecting that dirt up and moving it away from our paintwork.
Beautiful. Now, we've already proved that there's an element of road grime left there, so we can do the swipe test after. And let's face it, we're expecting clean pads, aren't we?
I'm expecting very clean pads.
Okay, let's crack on.
Actually.
Nice and frothy.
Yeah, it is, and I gotta say, I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
It's not the slickest shampoo.
What, in terms of glide?
In terms of glide.
Okay.
But it does feel safe under the wash media. So there's sort of so I've got no issues at all with using it. It's nice and sudsy.
Nice and sudsy.
Yeah.
You've used some that glide better, but ultimately the test is at the end, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But it feels safe.
Yes.
Okay, so happy to do the rest of the vehicle?
Happy to do the rest of the vehicle.
I'm going to have a play again, so we'll time warp this, then we'll rinse it down, and then we'll do the all-important swipe test where we are, if we're honest, expecting a clean pad. Okay, so contact wash done and rinse down. Now, before we do the swipe test, we had a conversation. We were having a dialogue over this observation you made about the slickness, and we've come to the conclusion because it feels quite thick. It's almost like a treacle effect, isn't it? And that's why it's not gliding as much, but it feels safe. It's just not super slicky, and people need to know that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But in terms of the usage, in terms of the rinse off, exactly the same ease of rinse when we use it as a snow foam. So
Absolutely.
From a user experience, it's really, really nice. So this is the proof of the pudding. We're using a contact wash to get rid of that film. Let's have a look. So if you do a good, you should be able to do a big swipe on that all over. And let's have a look.
I'd say it's done its job.
Absolutely spotless. I will take a photograph now just to do it. Let's do the top. Just for repetition. So look, I'll take a photograph now. So verdicts on that?
It's done its job as a shampoo.
Absolutely. Okay, so we need to crack on because it is so cold. We're not looking at sympathy. You would not believe how cold it is. So we're happy with all that. Let's go on to the ceramic sealant.
Yeah.
Okay, nice clean car. We are battling sunlight here. So, Carlos, what are we looking now? We are looking, I believe, at the ceramic spray sealant.
That we are. So we're going to do the first test vase, which is the spray on rinse off. So we'll have a look at the hydrophobic behaviour of our panels first. We'll spray this on and then rinse it off and then see if we get any improvement.
Absolutely. Now, there's three ways of applying the product that Carl's got. You can use it as a rinse aid. Now, we don't use products as rinse aids, but you can.
Yep.
So that's one use, and you're going to you could do that basically between each maintenance wash, couldn't you?
Absolutely. You'll get around about 1 to 2 weeks worth of protection with that.
Absolutely. So you can apply it. You can also do it the way we're going to test it now, which is basically spray on, spray off. And, arguably every other maintenance wash probably getting multiple weeks using that, would you argue?
Yeah, well, we'll test that theory, but I'd expect maybe about 3 or 4 weeks with this way.
Absolutely. And we are, like Carl said, going to come back and test it. And then for maximum longevity, you're looking at using it almost like a sealant, almost like a QD, where you've got the vehicle all prepped, chemical, mechanical, super dry, and applying it like a QD element. And then you're looking at
about
6 months.
Pan says about 6 to 12 months. But you have to prep the car properly for that longevity.
Absolutely. Now, we haven't. So like Carl said, we're going to use the spray on, rinse off, technique. And just on one panel, we're going to show the difference. Then we're going to take it in the garage and we're going to try it out as the QD style.
Absolutely.
Okay, so quick spray just to look at the existing hydrophobics or lack of. Okay, so you can see it's pretty dead. So over to you, the handsome Carlos.
Thank you.
So we're looking at a couple of sprays per panel, would you say?
I think it says about 2 sprays per panel.
Okay, so let's do the whole side of this vehicle then. We're testing, adjusting, it may be the case. Now, a couple of things. Firstly, some of you are thinking, my gosh, Carl went straight in to rinse that off really quickly. And also he did a second rinse. And that is because we've used a similar style product before. We left it on a bit longer, had major issues, didn't we, in terms of staining plastic. So we're conscious of that on this one, aren't we?
Absolutely. So that's hence the additional rinse.
I knew you were thinking about our previous experience. So in terms of rinse off, nice and easy?
Very easy. And you can tell from what you saw in there that the hydrophobics are fantastic.
Let's have a look. Let's go. Day and night, absolutely, really, really good. Now, like we said in our intro to this product, if you get a few weeks out of this, it's done really, really well. In terms of gloss, very difficult to pick up on the GoPro. Okay, but it's left a nice sheen there, I would suggest.
I think it'd be easier to tell when we bring it inside, because we've got the two sides we can evaluate better.
Absolutely, but definite enhancement in hydrophobic.
Absolutely.
Look at the handsome man in the reflection. Okay, really, really good. Right then, we are not rushing this, but it's starting to rain, and I think it's about 5 degrees now. Okay, so we are going to basically take this vehicle inside now, aren't we?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the warmth.
Where it's warm, so good times. Okay, we are enjoying the warmth, aren't we, Carl?
We are.
Absolutely. So the car's been brought inside, nice and clean, and we have dried it. So we're going on to the spray-on sort of QD. Now, we've had a chat about this. If the claims are 6 months on a fully prepped car, machine polishing, all the good stuff, are robust for 6 months, it's not really a QD-esque, is it? It's really a sealant, isn't it?
Well, it is a sealant, yeah, absolutely.
So I think the reason why the sort of, some of the labelling is sort of suggests QD is the fact that you can use it as a drying aid, you can use it on a wet car, spray on, rinse off, and all that kind of stuff. But, when people talk about QDs as 6 months longevity, I don't see them as QDs. I see them as sealants. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And the whole idea of a QD is to sort of traditionally a QD is lightly remove dust and all that kind of stuff. But that's another conversation. So over to you, Carl, using arguably the one that's going to give you the longevity, and the longevity is relative to how well you prep the car, really, isn't it?
As with any LSB. So we're going to look at this now in the QD variant. So the instructions say to spray onto a microfiber cloth, spread it, flip the towel.
Do you have to do that with the microfiber?
You do. Obviously, and then you flip it and then buff off.
Excellent.
But I'm also going to do an additional test this way. Possibly most people do it. It's also spray directly onto the panel.
Yep.
Spread it across and then buff off. So I'm going to try it in 2 different ways.
Roger. And this is on dry paint, and then we're going to finish off by doing a quick hydrophobic test just for kicks and giggles.
Oh, because we love the hydrophobics.
Absolutely. Excellent. Right. So let's go.
So 2 sprays on my microfiber. You can see where you're going with it.
Yeah. Even a GoPro,
Absolutely.
which is rubbish at this, is picking this up.
Yeah. So.
Oh, what a lovely smell.
It is a lovely smell. I'll give it that.
That's lovely.
And then I'm just going to put this down, and I'll turn it over, and then I'm going to buff off. And it's gone slick. It's actually quite slick, this.
Oh, that smells lovely.
It does smell really nice. It's like a floral note to it.
Yeah. Right, I'm seeing no streaking. In terms of ease of removal?
Very, very easy. Very easy to apply. I like the fact, it might be because it's a dark car, I like the fact I can see where I'm going with it.
Yep.
So there's almost like a thickness to the spray on what I'm leaving, and then the buff off is really easy and it's gone really slick, so it's nice.
So you could go around and do a car in minutes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep, okay, that smell. I know we go on about smell, but that's beautiful.
It really is quite nice.
Okay, so you were suggesting you had another technique as well?
So I just want to try it in a different thing where we space directly onto the panel.
Okay, less control, but it is a method, like you said.
Absolutely, that most people are going to use, to be fair. So I've got two spritzers on.
Spritzes?
Ooh.
We've gone from sprays to spritzes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, you can clearly see because it's got an almost sort of slightly cloudy, milky effect.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to turn over again.
Yeah. You can see it sort of suddenly, once you get to a point whereby there's hardly any product, it just flashes off, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So again, really easy to apply. I would say just ever so slightly more difficult to remove, but that's
probably because
the way I've done it.
And I'm just ignoring the light if you just don't move, Carl. It's probably slightly grabby because when you spray it directly into the microfiber is probably absorbing some before you've actually started using it. Straight on the panel, there's more there, isn't there?
Absolutely, but again, just took a little bit more effort to get it off, but it spread really nicely. It still smells amazing.
It does smell good, doesn't it? Pan, we need your ingredients for what you're putting in your products.
I say, if you've seen us in the past, especially when we talk about waxes, we love the experience. We love you know, the smell's part of that experience, and actually this is a really, really pleasant smell. So
absolutely right. So I want to play. We're going to put it on time warp. We're going to do the rest of the vehicle. Should take us literally minutes. We're not going to be taking it outside for final show, because this isn't normally the way we'd prep a vehicle. We do a lot more work on it. We're doing the glass and all that kind of stuff. So there's no real value. The value in this, would you agree, Carl, is the user experience and trying to give people as much information about utilising the products and the benefits of using them.
absolutely.
Right, let's get. I'm struggling here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a play now. Say again.
Let's crack on.
Let's crack on. He does tell me off, doesn't he? Okay, so that's the sealant all done. Nice and easy. Easy on, easy off, lovely smell. Me and Carl are in slight disagreement as to whether it enhances gloss. I think my eyes see differently. I think it just makes it a bit pop, a bit of a sheen there. Your thoughts?
There's a slight increase in gloss, but
yeah,
it's nothing to write home about, if I'm honest.
Absolutely, you get two opinions for the price of one. Okay, so the hydrophobicity test. Now, we've been chatting, we're expecting good things because we saw the reaction when we used it on the wet paint, made a big difference.
Absolutely, so I'm expecting this to do quite well.
Absolutely, so I've got my phone ready, so let's go for the beading test first. Keep going. I will get my phone out. So looking good at the moment, but this is what we're seeing sort of close up. I'll tell you what, they are not too bad.
They're not shabby at all.
At all. I quite like that, actually. So, I'm quite impressed with them, actually.
They're not too bad at all. Absolutely.
They're on a par with some of the sort of less performing waxes in terms of beading, but you can see it's trying to run off as well. So, excellent. Okay, for the run-off test then.
Sheeting really nicely.
Very, very good. And that's similar to what we saw, the improvement it made when we applied it on the spray on the wet paint.
So you can almost see why it would be a good drying aid.
I don't need to get the phone out for that. I think that's self-explanatory.
No, it sheeted really nicely. Again, it's not the quickest sheeter we've seen.
Yep.
However, it sheets really nicely.
Absolutely. So hydrophobic wise, it's quite impressive.
It's quite impressive, yeah.
I like that. Fun times. Excellent. So we just need to do the summary bit now.
Final wrap-up time.
This is going to be interesting. Right then, the interesting bit. Probably what people are interested in hearing what we've got to say. So we've only looked at two. We've got quite a few more products. Interesting, we want to get hold of their ceramic coating, Pan ceramic coating as well, to sort of finish off a year of ceramic coats. So let's talk about the shampoo first. I'll go first on the shampoo. Oh yeah, I've got to hold it. So the shampoo, the question is, we're not going to get into is it the best debate, okay, because we haven't tried every one, so we can't make that conclusion. Would I use this again? Yes, but I personally would use it as a shampoo. In terms of my preference for pre-wash, I would probably be going for a more potent, slightly more alkaline citrus pre-wash rather than using this as a pre-wash. If I am using a snow foam, I tend to go for an alkaline snow foam for a bit of punch, and my personal preference is not to use this as a pre-wash. However, as a shampoo, yes, I definitely would. I like that thickness, that slickness, and the proof was evident in that pad at the end where it was clear. So that's where I stand with a shampoo. But would I buy it again? Yes, I would, but as a shampoo. Carl?
Right, so as a shampoo, yes, it performed. It cleaned the car. Okay, it wasn't the slickest I've ever used, but I felt it was safe on the paintwork. Would I buy it again? I'd like to see how much it's going to cost, because at the moment it's not been released on Clean Your Car, so I'd like to see how much it's going to cost before I say that. If it's at the expensive end, I'm going to be honest, probably not.
Okay.
But
so you're looking at the value, the price versus performance.
Yeah,
okay.
I know there is other shampoos out there that I would probably use before this, but that's the thing, and that's what people want to know is the price for it.
Absolutely. Interesting. The one bit I didn't mention was the unique thing about this product is that it's almost like two levels to the snow foam. You've got the bit that drops off and then a bit that sticks to it, which is quite unique. I'm going to have to look for that in future reviews of snow foams, because it was quite obvious that there was lots coming off, but there was almost a collage of the foam sticking to the paint doing its work, which I like. Now, it'd be interesting to hear from Pan as to whether that was deliberate, because it's quite interesting.
It was, certainly from the thinner aspect. I was expecting how thin it went on to come off the car really, really quickly, and it didn't. So in that respect, that was quite unique and impressive from what I can remember in the times we've tested other snow foams. So,
okay, the ceramic spray sealant. First of all, the smell is divine. I'm still getting it off this car now. I need to know what the smell is, because I want an aftershave made of this stuff. Okay, so three applications for this as a drying aid. We could have tested it as a drying aid, but we don't use drying aids. But looking at the hydrophobic reaction, I have got no reason to doubt that it wouldn't be effective, and it's going to facilitate a safer drying process. We've got into the habit really of using the air dryer because we're that conscious of inducing marring. As a sort of spray on, rinse off on wet paint, really, really good. You saw how easy, just a couple of sprays carpet on, immediately rinsed it off, and the difference in hydrophobic reaction was considerable. So as a wet applied spray on, rinse off, would I use this? 100%. Interesting to see how long that lasts using that technique, but I'm sort of tipping in between every other maintenance wash, perhaps. As a sort of QD spray on sealant when the vehicle is dry, once again, easy on, easy off. The variable on this one would be how long it lasts, but even if it lasted, a month or two, that's great. A word of caution though, using it as a, do not be using this technique every maintenance wash, because you're going to overload the product, and what you'll find, and we've found it with previous ones, products like this, if you apply every maintenance wash, it starts to reject itself. All right, so you're inducing problems, you're not getting the real benefit. So I really, really like this, and personally, would I buy this again? I certainly would. Interesting to see the longevity. We're going to come back to a conversation we just had offline about this, when you would use it, after Carl's analysis.
So yeah, absolutely. Drying aid, we didn't test that element, but like Andy said, from the hydrophobic side, yeah, it's probably going to be a very good product on that. Spray on, rinse off sealant, actually that really impressed me out of the two applications we did test, considering a previous one we tried. Really found it really easy, sprayed off really nicely, and left lovely hydrophobics. From a QD aspect, yeah, if I'm getting a month, 2 months worth of longevity on it, with how easy it is to remove, to apply and to remove, yeah, it's a winner.
Absolutely. And there was a thickness to this, so if you wanted to use this as a traditional QD to get rid of dust and everything, it felt quite safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Safe. Right then, final thing we're going to talk about is this product. Now, to get the 6 months, let's just say it lasts 6 months, okay, that's down to fully prepping your vehicle. So that is a maintenance wash, a chemical decontamination, mechanical decontamination, arguably machine polishing, panel prep, everything. The question we were just having in our T-bar was, would you then just go and apply this? All right, so there's a question as to when you're going to use this. Now, my personal preference, and Carl agrees, if you're going to go to that length of prepping a vehicle, you're not really going to use this something, and we might be wrong on this. We would 100% be going for ceramic coating.
Absolutely.
So the question is, when would you use this? Would you use it as ceramic topper? Arguably you could, because it's increasing hydrophobics, but there's a school of thought that says if you apply a ceramic coating, why would you put anything on top of it? You're going to clog the pores. You apply a ceramic coating to get the hydrophobicity and self-cleaning, why would you put something on? But the other school of thought is help it out, use it as a topper. But certainly I think you'd use this if you're not into detail into the length of doing all that prep, and you just want an easy on, easy off, 2 or 3 months on a potentially not pristinely prepped car, I think this is a great product. What are your thoughts as to when would you use it after going through all the work?
Well, you've just said that we had this conversation offline, and I wouldn't use this if I just fully prepped a car. I'd be going for a proper ceramic coating.
Agreed.
I would use this generally as a QD or a spray on rinse off as a maintenance helper for my wash cycle, so to keep me going either that 2 to 3, I would say, weeks for the spray and rinse off, or that 2 to 3 months potentially as the QD element.
We're guessing on the longevity.
We are guessing.
We are going to come back to you in the new year with more information on the longevity, because the history of this doesn't give us the information. We can't, it's just claims at the moment, isn't it? Doesn't matter who says it lasts 6 months, show me the test. We're in a position, we've got it now, and we can start the evolution of that test.
So, like I said, I would use it as QD spray on rinse off. Excellent,
good stuff. Right then, first of all, that's it. We're not going to get into the social media debate, okay? We are already anticipating some people aren't going to entertain this video because they've already made their mind up. What I would say is, make your mind up after testing the product, not by what you hear, see and read on social media. Like us, the people that like Pan stuff, there's people that hate Pan stuff, there's people that hate our stuff, there's people that like our stuff. Okay, that's the world we live in social media. Okay, we've just tried to give you live recordings, no talkovers, we talk as we use it, and that's all we can say. Massive thanks to Dave from Clean Your Car for sending this out almost the day, well, it was the day it came into the UK. And have you got anything else what are your final thoughts, Carl? Anything else to say?
No, just keep an open mind when it comes to these kind of products. Take on what we've said, but until you've tested it yourself, that's the only time you can make your own honest opinion on something.
Absolutely. So from Andy and Carl, I think that's a goodbye.
It is.
Watch out for the next Pan or Clean by Pan The Organiser videos coming up in the new year. So take care.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
You beat me this time.